Welcome back to another episode of My Kitchen Co-Pilot. Today we have some beetroot and caramel tarts, courtesy of ChatGPT. So it started off with a tart shell. That's good. Solid start there. However, the recipe that it made was pretty bad. Actually, most components of this were pretty bad. Gotta say, people who are relying on AI for things like taxes and legal advice, I feel so sorry for you because I feel like it just doesn't know what it's doing. Granted, it's a little bit different with baking because it's just pulling from all of the different websites with all of the different blogs, with all of the different histories of these recipes and trying to figure out something that actually makes sense. And we've all done that and been equally confused. So I guess I'll give it a human amount of grace, possibly. You'll notice that for these tart shells, I use a perforated baking mat and perforated tart rings. This allows me to bake without having to blind bake and fill the shells. So they'll still brown up and become crispy, but without having to use extra material. This one gave me pause because it just told me to roast a beetroot in aluminum foil, no seasoning or flavoring of any sort, not even to peel it. That's fine. And then after it was roasted, after about an hour or 45 minutes, I forget the exact time, but then you peel it and you throw it into a blender and just blend it. This bothers me immensely, and you'll see why later. But in the meantime, let's go on to the caramel. And caramel here came out much better than previous caramel attempts that I did. It just looks nicer. I didn't mix it. I avoided that temptation. And I will give AI credit. There's so many recipes for caramel that are all exactly the same online that it does know how to make a caramel. Unfortunately, it doesn't know how to scale a recipe either, and this just ended up not being enough caramel for what it wanted us to do. So that ground up beetroot, we just have that puree that's kind of chunky because it didn't get as smooth as I wanted, even though I passed it through a sieve. And we fill the tart with it and then just simply pour caramel on top of that. And these shells are big. It takes a lot of caramel. So I think I only was able to fill one or two of them, and I didn't even fill them all the way. Added a little bit of dried beetroot and called it a day. These were terrible. The caramel was okay, but the grainy, wet mess of beetroot with the soggy shell and then the chewy caramel just it's not for me or anyone with a pulse. But if you really want to, go ahead and try it. But either way, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll like and subscribe. Thank you.